all my pictures. I just ran across a picture that Jedi sent me of himself holding a shotgun. So
I was about to say that one.
It's hilarious. Oh God! I hope I can find. I hope I can find the picture of the BLT. So there used to be this legend that there used to be a BLT rank, and people
Bacon,
believed
lettuce,
it.
and tomato.
Yeah. Hold on. We're getting there. There used to be a BLT rank, and people believed it. So one day we had a recruit. He was like, "Oh, it's like, so is it true that there's a BLT rank?" And we're like, "Yeah, there's a BLT rank." And we were just, in the channel. And we're like, "Oh yeah, there's a BLT rank." Oh, okay. It's like, how do I get it? And we're like, "Oh, well, you have to go and make a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, and then you have to take a picture of it. And once you take a picture of it, you have to find the highest ranking officer in TeamSpeak.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to send it to them.
Okay.
And then you have to go into the channel and tell them, I just sent you a BLT. Can I be a BLT? And that's how you become a BLT. And this kid believed it. And he went and made himself a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. He took a picture of it. He found, God, who was the person that he found in the channel? Frost or Intense or DSM? I don't remember who it was.
Not cut through.
No. It was somebody that didn't have that much of a sense of humor. And he goes in there, and the next thing we know, the poor recruit was kicked from the server and banned. Hey, King. No, because we told him to make himself a big lettuce and tomato sandwich. He didn't get discharged or anything, but when he came back, we're like, we're just kidding. It wasn't actually true.
Okay,
But
gentlemen, we have an echo issue. We're being told.
Yeah, I'm trying to check it out. Let's have some silence. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Better now? No. Okay. Okay. That's why I jumped this earlier, guys. I expected this.
We
That was great. What are you doing?
Good, nothing much. History of TAW, we're gonna talk the history.
We're doing live streaming now to make sure we get all the bugs out of it.
It's good now, isn't it, Corpse? Perfect. Has, can you tell something to people? Has?
I'm leaving if he does that.
Thank you, King. No, it's just I need someone to tell something.
I know.
So,
No, I'm joking.
Corpse tell you hello. He listened to you very well.
Good. Hi, Corpse.
I found the email about the BLT.
Sharp, you have an echo? Seriously? Still echoing.
Who's echoing?
I don't know. Let me see.
I'm not.
What is this echo stuff?
It's on the stream or a talk Twitch.
Yeah, it's on the stream.
Let me see if there's some echo.
Let me check if I have some.
Kitchen.
Hello.
Hello?
I have to have.
You don't have. You have headphones. You're using headphones, right?
I'm using headphone, and I have to have some string up, but it's
Trying to get
muted.
the echo issue.
It's muted.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
have the string up to have the string chat. You know, I have no other option.
You're using headphones, correct?
Yes, I am.
I am using headphones. Yes. Should I not be?
No, it's on your pi. I was just curious where that maybe that was where the feedback was coming from.
Yeah, me too. I will try to change again on mixer.
Check.
You figured out there, Dr. Pie? We still got an issue going.
Sounded better right now.
All crystal clear.
Yep, it's good now.
Sweet. Yeah. Corpse just confirmed everything seems to be good. You still got the original picture of the BLT there, Tobacco?
I do.
You could shrink that picture and then put it into a tab.
That is the picture of the very first TAW20 meeting.
It says need access.
Should be. Let me see.
Sent your
Yeah.
request.
Thank you everyone guys who tried to help me on the stream chat.
Stand by.
Actually, it was a configuration that I have on OBS that was creating the echo. It happens.
Insert elevator music now. Oh, you fixed it.
Yep. Can you see it?
Yep.
That is the first TAW20 meeting.
I remember that too. Yeah, we had to TAW underscore in our names also.
Yeah, Corpse, I don't have mod rights too. It
There's
was
Junior
Kane who
Sunshine.
helped me with that. I don't know why.
Homer. Icarus. Hot dog, yeah. A lot of familiar names there.
Hey Ghost, how you doing?
Wrong channel, King.
I know. Was making sure the colors and the bold being properly set.
It's purdy.
Start in 50 minutes. 50. Nah.
Okay. Perfect, Ghost. Thank you very much.
That was back 133 one channel out of 800. That was pretty good back then.
Guys, I
Remember, a
put
few of
some
the
music
all-hands meetings, we
to
had to
fill the
actually ask
silence,
people to
okay?
leave so that way other people could log in. Remember those?
I hope it's good too. Thank you, Ariane. It's for Corpse, not for me. Yeah. 10 minutes before
That's
starting,
good.
guys.
Wow, Braveheart was just a little CO back then.
He was.
And you were over him. Wow, you could give him such a hard time with that.
You like it, huh? I was trying to put a music live to help us filling the silence. Because this is one of the most difficult parts of streaming. You have to keep talking and have this up. And this was kind of what bugged on my echo stuff, is because I had two channels in my mixer putting the same input, having the same input, converging. Terrible. Lesson learned. Ten minutes. Ah, yeah, now it's working. I understand what happened. I forgot that I took out the push to talk. Okay, now I'm back without the
You
push to talk.
forgot your button this time?
Yeah, I got a push to talk issue. It happens with everyone.
This reminds me when I went up in school, they used to teach us writing our spelling words repetitively so we could learn them that way. We'd have to write each one of them 50 times.
So, do you want to test, Tomamoko, the video that you want to share with us?
Sure. If you want to try to play it, that'd be great.
Sure. Here we go. So, for our colleagues, tall mates that we are in the Twitch, so be ready to watch something from a long, long time ago. And for this amazing moment, I will kick the first video of TAW anniversary in 2011. Sorry, at that moment we only had the best video was 240 points. Let's check. Yeah, now it's better because before I was blowing the mixer and it probably was baffling. Saturation. Yes, CRT screen of course has. Always.
Yeah. Okay, I will be right back in 2 minutes, okay?
Sure, Tomamoko. See you soon. Serious Corpse. I think I have the link from the old website. So that was the introduction video. I played it 2 or 3 times. I think it's enough. Yep. It's ready to show up. Now I will test another thing, just to be sure. Yeah, perfect. We are almost ready, like 5 more minutes. If you are on TeamSpeak upstairs, welcome to join us. We will be transferring to start the streaming and the TAW anniversary event in 5 minutes. If you are on Twitch, thank you for joining us. If you are already a TAW member, you know what you have to do. TeamSpeak is there to us to talk and to play around together. If you're not a TAW member, welcome aboard. And if you want to know more about our clan, this is an amazing guild that I have met in 2013. I'm not that old, but we will be hosting with colleagues that has experience for more than 15 years. So Tomamoko will be here to talk with us and let us know what happened before. Once again,
I am back.
I just pinged the TAW website. If you want to join us, feel free to join. I have my Nightbot up, purple one. Hello, Nala. Yep. I put some electronic music. I'm a fan of electronic music and I love electronics. I hope you were enjoying the music. Hello, Elite Guard.
Okie dokie.
Hello, Sharp Shot. Sharpshot, you are from Rainbow Six, isn't it? Because R6 should be Rainbow Six. If not, it's something is quite wrong. What gives that way? Your name, Sharp Sword R6. I don't know, maybe. I think we talked together before on TeamSpeak. Hello, Rowan! Rowan, you were taking questions too, isn't it? I asked everyone that has more than 10 years from in TAW to answer questions if it passed by something from your knowledge about the history of TAW. Nine years ago, it was not Sharpshot. Okay. Great. We are 21 people live at TAW TV. Welcome to join us. I am Dr. Pai. I'm from Events and Resource Division. Here with me, waiting to start the event, are Mr. Haas, our big boss, DC of Events and Resource Division, and Tomamoko, our speaker today. And I will be your chairman, taking questions from Twitch and also from TeamSpeak chat. Event starting in 50 seconds.
50 seconds?
Yeah, very precise, isn't it?
Dun, dun, dun.
How people join the clan farm? You go to this website and you fill a form, very easy, and then we have a meeting with you to help you to fix configure TeamSpeak, which is our voice communication, and also your website application. And it's a nice club here, very family, worldwide, 1,600 members, and we have more than 20 games, and we'll be talking about these games whole the night. So I hope you feel free, you identify yourself in one of these games. We started very long time ago in 2001 with Delta Division. I hope you have seen Delta before. It's a CRT like very low definition game. And now we're still playing this kind of games. Like our second game is Battlefield. And yesterday we have an amazing event about Battlefield 5. So we still keep our games. And we have games that are in TAW more than 10 years. But this is not my talk. It's probably the story that Tomamoko will talk to us. So, to be straight and start the event, I'll be joining the main channel, and the speaker will start in a few seconds. Let's go to Tomamoko, Mr. Haas, and Dr. Pai checking up. Tomamoko, Dr. Pai, and Mr. Haas checking in.
Hello, everybody. So I think there's the beginning, right, Dr.
Yeah, and to begin, I would like to thank everyone who is participating on this event. My name is Dr. Pai. I will be your chairman, which means that I will be introducing Tomamoko just in a few seconds, and I will be taking questions at the end of this presentation. We expect to have around 20 to 30 minutes presentation from Tomamoko, and then we will take questions and start telling jokes and stories about the history of TAW and all things that we used to tell and we don't have on the library yet. For those who don't know, Tomamoko is General 4 stars and a TAW member since 2005. During this time, he has been seeing in TAW, he has seen TAW growth and flourish to a welcome gaming community, which is today. For Tomamoko, TAW is more than a place to play. It's a great game. It's a place also to meet interesting individuals, learn their stories by sharing and enriching his own perspective. He has held many positions in TOR, and probably will talk about this. And he has dealt with many things in TOR. So if you want to know what happened in TOR during this all years, uh, we will be talking now. Okay.
Was that my cue?
No, I saw a question on the chat from Sharp Short, and I was trying to understand what he said. It's a quack stuff. Anyway, so for those who are not used to participate in this kind of PowerPoint presentations in TOR TV, we have two ways to participate. You can either go to the channel, which is History of TOR on TeamSpeak, and click on the logo that will redirect you directly, the TOR anniversary logo, will redirect you directly to the PDF file that I'm presenting on the Twitch channel. And if you are on TOR TV on Twitch, please follow the slideshow that we'll be presenting. If you don't know where is TOR TV, we also have a link on the website, on the TeamSpeak channel, which is live on TOR TV. Please have your mics muted and listen when we will be streaming. And we will start with this general presentation and then takes questions and answers by General Press X, like we used to do. Have you any questions so far? Here, anyone has difficulties to joining Talk TV or to opening the presentation, please let me know. I will also put the presentation link on the chat on TeamSpeak. Anyone? First try. Anyone second try? Let me check if I have a question on Twitch. No, I don't think I have a question. So that's it. Thank you for joining us, Tomamoko. Tomamoko will be our presenter here. And from now, it's showtime.
Well, thank you. I that was a great introduction. I feel like you've ramped me up really high. It's like, geez, with all the things that I'm supposed to know. Um, so some of you might know me. Most of you probably don't. But like Dr. Pai said, I've been here since 2005. I joined back in the day in the Battlefield 2 days. I've been here ever since. I loved it ever since. It's been a great, wonderful community, and it's been incredible since the very first day I've joined. Never in a million years would I ever think that I would be here, at this point. So it's been a journey. It's been great. I've held many positions, and some were easier than others. Some were challenges, some weren't. Um, but every single one of them taught me something, and every single one of them has helped me along the way. So for that, I am ever grateful for this community. Um, so hopefully I can give some insight as to the history. And there's some people here like Taz that have been here a little bit longer than I have, so he could probably fill in on some of those aspects too. So Taz, by all means, send me a text if you want to fill in on some history I don't know about. But I will try my best to put in my perspective as to how I've seen Tom progress and through my eyes as to its history. And I'll try to fill in as many commentary as I can. But the best part is it's going to involve a lot of embarrassing stories about Jedi. And I say that because Jedi isn't here, so he can't defend himself, so he can't tell me that they're not true. So, FYI, everything I said about Jedi is 100% true, 100% the truth, and there is no refuting it because he's not here. So, so let's go ahead and start. Um, so, as some of you know, TOS started back in 2001. Um, and it was started by a group of friends, a core group of friends playing Delta Force. And one of the major members of that was Omega, and Wedge. Wedge and Omega. They played Delta Force with a core group of friends. I'm not sure about this time of age. Frankly, I never played Delta Force, but I know that they loved that game. That game bonded them together for the time that they were here. Um, Omega himself was a very, very, I guess I say, direct individual that valued loyalty and friendship above almost anything. And he wanted a place that encompassed those values. Eventually, it morphed into what TAW is today. Um, so, in March 6th, first squad of Delta Force squad launches, develops into the website at TAW, with TAW. Our first website was a grungy looking uh, website. I think we called it the brown website. Um, mainly because it had like a brown hue to it. It was very simplistic, and I do believe we seen the Ta intro. Did we see that already, Dr. Pi?
No, I never. Oh, no, I never. I just seen the image that we have from the past of the website.
Okay, so that was pretty much our first website. We purchased the domain, which was theartofwarfare.net, which is very, very lengthy. And it was very difficult to try to get people to join because we had to type that entire thing out, and hopefully nobody misspelled it. So it was very difficult to do at times. But that was our very first website, theartofwarfare.net, true website. Uh, the website itself, like I said, I think was made using PHP. Um, yeah, the forums were separate as well. So use a separate thing. Um, Eventually we got to a size where TAW incorporated this thing called Task Force Operations. And right from the get-go, right from when TAW started, they decided to incorporate a quasi-militaristic structure, right, with ranks and positions named after the ranks. Um, so it pretty much has carried over ever since then. That's why we all have certain ranks next to our name. Was because of that first iteration where okay, we want to structure it this way. We want to structure it in a quasi-militaristic way. Uh, Eventually, when TFO rolled around, it was very, very simplistic. Again, at this point, I think we only had one or two games. Yeah, Delta Force and Ghost Recon. Uh, and we didn't have that many members. I think at this point in time, it was about 100 or so members, if that. Um, but Task Force Operations was kind of like the beginning part of the hierarchy of TAW, kind of like the beginning phases of what eventually TAW will morph into, which would eventually help us outlive and outlast almost any other gaming organization that was out there. Because gaming groups is not something unique to TAW. We didn't invent it. We were part of many. Um, but we were unique in a sense of how we decided to run ourselves and conduct ourselves. Um, and the emphasis of not having one sole individual be in charge and have the sole responsibility of carrying on the organization as a whole. So that's going to be an ongoing theme you're going to see throughout TAW's history. The fact that we don't want one person to be in charge necessarily, as in if that one person leaves or is no longer there, the entire place just kind of implodes upon itself. We always want to look for longevity, something that's going to outlast us. Okay. So next slide, we're going on to 2002 now. Still 3 years before my time. Okay, so in 2002, the first TAW annual TAW White annual meeting, and when I say TAW White annual meeting, it's more than likely it's still about 100 or so people, not what we currently see today when we see our TAW annual meetings. Um, Delta Force, Ghost Recon still going strong. Ghost Recon, I do believe, was the longest running unit in TAW until recently. So it's lasted a very long time, and its members were incredibly dedicated. And I do believe some of their members from Ghost Recon are still around today, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's still one or two still around, kicking around today. Dossiers are launched, which are kind of cool. I think dossiers are kind of what you see right there in those pictures. Those were neat in the sense that on them, it took you to your little dossier page, and you can actually input, and that pretty much has stemmed to this date. I do believe you used to be able to create yourself a signature for the forms from these dossiers. I don't know if you can still do that, but it shows you how much I keep in touch with our forums. Eventually, Battlefield 1942 launches, and once Battlefield 1942 launches, shortly thereafter, I do believe in 2003, Jedi joins. And I want to speak about Jedi because Jedi is one of the first people that introduced me to TAW. He was the very first person that I encountered when I came on board. And to this point, he's one of my longest friends here in TAW. But Jedi is incredibly annoying. Jedi would not leave me alone. Jedi would constantly send me emails whenever something happened and would tell me, "I told you so." It's like, "You're not listening to me." It's like, "You caused this." So now that Jedi's not here, I'm probably going to make fun of him. So now we're going into 2003. Eventually, 2003. There we go. So we have another Tall White annual meeting, of course, in 2003. But in 2003, we start seeing an expansion of the overall organization. I do believe 2003 is also the year we started our first RTS unit, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that 2004? I could be mistaken there. Eventually, we're able to get what is it, 4 different games or 5 different games that we have. Nothing of consequence that I know of, I'm sorry about that, happens in this year, as in the sense of anything that I have knowledge about. And during this entire time, TAW is just growing. We have pretty much a very large number of people by this point. I think at this point there's something around 300 to 400 members. CD instead of COD. That is correct. The Flash introduction for the TAW website, which did we play that? We did play that, right? Which was wonderful. So one thing about the TAW introduction, I don't know if anybody caught it, which is if somebody can name me what song we used for the TAW introduction, if you guys have seen it. I don't know if anybody can name it, but it was actually in the movie. And the TAW introduction has a misspelling. Whoever made the introduction misspelled battalion, and they spelled it as battalion. And Icarus, if nobody here knows, every single time we saw that, just ate at him.
Tomomoko, do you want to show this to guys now, or we keep going
great.
to 24?
No, that'd be great if we can show the TAW introduction again for anybody that has not seen the TAW introduction. It is. I'll be honest. When I first joined the website, this caught my eye, and this made me want to join even more.
Yeah. And we have to explain to people who has less than 20 years old that I'm sorry guys, but at that time was the best video that we can have. So please enjoy. Yeah. This is the introduction that Tomomoko is talking about.
Actually, hold on. Before you play it, I want to preface something for anybody that here, like Dr. Pai said, for anybody here that is younger than 15 years. Please understand that back in the day, having a splash screen in front of a website, which is a website before you go into an actual website, was like the thing. Everybody had a splash screen. Like you went to a website, like it would show something first, and then you would have to click like an enter button, and then it would take you to the actual website. So please forgive us. We did not know better. This was a thing. So just FYI, this was our splash screen, but it caught me. It made me want to join even more the first time I ever saw this. So go ahead.
So it just ended the video now, Tomomoko, if you want to go to 2004.
So that was the awesomeness. That was that. Okay. Like I said, batillions, forgive us. Sometimes we're the better spellers. I surely am not. But you kind of caught a little glimpse of it there. Once the video ended, it took you to a kind of a letter, an introduction of what TAW was. And I remember reading that letter and going, man, this place is completely not what I'm expecting. Reintroduce battalions. Um, so when you read that, and it was signed by, after you read the entire letter that it had on there, it said signed by Task Force Operations, which was interesting to anybody that wasn't sure what that was. They'd be like, what the heck is a Task Force Operations? And the beauty of that is that it's signed by the hierarchy of the structure of TAW, right? It's not signed by whoever was in charge that during that time, Omega. It was signed by the hierarchy. This is a letter introducing our organization to anybody that visited our website, by the group of individuals that currently lead it. And they don't have necessarily a name because they change. And that was the beauty of it. So that leads us into 2004. In 2004, by this point, we're in full swing when it comes to TAW and the amount of games that we have, and when I say variety of games, during this time, 90% of the games that we had were first-person shooters, with the exception of I do believe was Lock On, which was a flight sim game. Um, Unfortunately, I was never that good enough at flying, and I never had a joystick to actually be able to fly with these guys. But they always seemed like they had fun. I remember they would be in channel every Sunday, creating detailed operations that they would carry out, and they would play for like 5 hours in channel, and like clockwork every single Sunday they were right there. 2004. I'm trying to see. I thought somebody was spelled the World of Warcraft, the World of Warfare, TAW's tournament site. Pretty much TFO. Let me read this real quick. TAW branded merchandise. Yeah, by this point we had the shop. It's nothing like the shop that it is today. It was very, very simplistic, but I remember I bought myself that had TAW on it, and I bought myself some stickers that TAW on it, which was great. A member of note that joined this year was Icarus. He joined Far Cry. During that time, I was still to join, but Icarus quickly rose in the ranks of Far Cry. By the time I joined, I think Icarus was already a DC. So he was there. The awards and medals, I'm not sure if they started this year, the awards and medals. I think it was the previous year that the awards and medals started. But every year we would add new awards and different medals that we would use to recognize our team members. And it's very unique in the sense of a lot of the awards that we had weren't necessarily awards for skills that you had playing the game. They were more or less awards about leadership and how you helped your battalion at that time. At that time to grow. It's a focus because as much as we'd like to, say that TAW, had incredible competitive teams, and we had incredible competitive teams. That's been awesome. It hasn't always been our focus. It's more been our focus has always been more of having an inclusive place where people are able to come, have fun, enjoy themselves, and literally find a unique mix of people to play with and be friends with. TAW recruitment video goes live. I'll be honest, I never saw that TAW recruitment video. I wish I had, so I don't know what that looked like. But if our intro video was any indicator, it would have been awesome. And TFO approves a restructure change to division. Third restructure, divisions will now have battalions instead of zones. Battalions will be filled with members from anywhere in the world. TF4 introduces corps commanders to help division staff. So this is the first iteration of corps commanders. So during this time, the person that is the leader of TAW, right, what we now call the CIC, I do believe is called was called the Secretary General.
Yes, I confirm. It's Secretary of TAW.
It was the Secretary General of TAW. Which out of all the names that we could have picked, that's a pretty good name to pick. I like Secretary Generals. Commander in Chief is. They never took my suggestion to call the leader of TAW, no, the Great Overlord, but that was just my suggestion. I would have preferred that, but they said something about it being too dramatic. But hey, that was just me.
I think Doc wanted that one too, didn't he?
I would love to be called Overlord. So, okay, so now we go in 2005. Okay, so 2005. This is the year I joined. This year was a great year. Oh, it says Tomoko joins TAW. I did. So 2005, Omega is reelected as the Secretary General of TAW, which he was. During this time, I do believe that there weren't things such as DCs. Everything is very simplistic in the sense of, I do believe like battalion structures was a DC, a CO, an XO, and DIs. I do believe that was it. Like that was your structure. That's what you had to play with, right? You didn't have anything else. Go ahead, Taz.
With the old structure, you had the HI instead of the SO.
I didn't hear all that much, Taz. Speak up a little bit more. Sorry.
Instead of the SO, as we all know him, we had the HDI, Dual Instructor, Heroes and Battalion Staff.
Yes, correct. So the structure itself, like I said, was very simplistic. There weren't that many positions to go around. So Omega's reelected as Secretary General. The role is later renamed to Commander in Chief, of course. TFO approves a pilot project for Ghost Recon 2 on the Xbox. Unfortunately, it could be a little, spoilers, didn't quite work out. But we tried. I think we've tried to expand the consoles, but the thing that has always kind of held it back a bit has always been the fact that it's very hard to communicate with people, at least it was back then, that were on consoles and kind of try to incorporate them into the overall group. First TAW-wide annual TeamSpeak meeting is held. That is very true. I actually have a picture of that. That I think I shared somewhere, but I don't know if we'll be able to post it. But I have a picture of the first TAW-wide annual meeting. TFO proposed new structure for divisions with more than 100 members, creating the division commander, staff officer, and platoon leader. Yes. And during this time, there weren't that many units that had over 100 members. I do believe Far Cry was one of them. Battlefield was the other one, because during this year is when we had BF2, which was a brand spanking new game. TFO approves the 5-year service medal, and TFO promotes Omega to the rank of 5-star general, then highest rank in TAW, which is still the highest rank in TAW, first time ever. When I first joined TAW in this year, the very first time I ever interacted with a TAW member was not when I played Battlefield. It was when I played Star Wars Battlefront, which at the time for me was an incredible game. That game had everything I ever wanted in the game, which mainly meant that it had an AT-AT and I could be a sniper using a laser rifle. And that's all I wanted in life. It was a fun game to have. And during one of these times when I was playing this game, and I would just lone wolf it, I didn't have anybody to play with. I know that sounds sad. I was a busy guy back then. I encountered these guys that were playing as a group in a server, and they had this tall TAW above their name, like next to their name. And I was like, who the heck are these guys? One, they're kicking my butt. And two, they seem to be playing together the entire time. My only style of knowing how to play was, just running and gunning, which to this day is still my style of play. Just kind of spray and pray. But these guys seemed like they were together. They were organized. They were doing, they really were just dominating the server. And that piqued my interest. I was like, who the heck are these guys with TAW? And then somebody, I think one of them posted a message on the chat with the link to the website, theartwarfare.net. And I went, okay, let me see this. What is this? And that was the very first time that I went to the website. When the very first time I saw that awesome intro video. And at that moment, I kind of went, this is interesting. I wonder what this place is. And eventually, I think about a month and a half later, I joined, and I had just recently purchased Battlefield 2. They had a Battlefield 2 unit. Bam, I was in Battlefield 2. I'm not quite sure how the onboarding process is now, but back then, the onboarding process consisted of you applied, you submitted your TeamSpeak name, which mine is Tomoko. Many people over the years have asked me, where the heck did my name come from? I can honestly say I have zero clue. I do not remember where my name came from. I think it was just an amalgamation of things that I spliced together in my mind. If you ask Jedi, he says that my name means booger eater. But that's Jedi, and he's lying. So I didn't know where my name came from, but I joined, and about a couple of days later, I got an email from uh, A couple of days later, I got an email from one of their DIs telling me to come on TeamSpeak. They gave me a TeamSpeak link. They told me to download this thing and to go through their boot camp. And I kid you not, their boot camp back then was literally a boot camp. You logged into the game and they made you do drills, which I found incredibly hilarious, but at the time, incredibly endearing. And I went, "This is fun. This is really fun. I really enjoy this. Let me do this some more." Uh, and that's how I joined. And then my first practice, it was literally just coming to channel at the time when it was specified, and they went, "Okay, we're breaking down into different squads, and we're going to be doing this," and then we will play a game. And I was hooked. That was it. That was it. After that point, I was hooked for life, I guess you may say. Okay, so now we're going on to 2006. During this time, the very first MMO joins, which is actually, correction, this is in the history books, just FYI. This is actually the second MMO. World of Warcraft is actually the second MMO to join TAW, because I believe the first MMO to join TAW was, oh God, was it called PlanetSide? I think it was PlanetSide. I don't know, Taz, if you remember.
Yeah.
But I think it was PlanetSide, and I believe that was an MMO. I never played it, so I really don't know. But this is the first time Warcraft tried to join TAW. Yeah, it was kind of like MMO. It was like first person shooter / MMO. But technically, that would have been the very first game. That MMO that joined TAW, and actually did fairly well. But the first true MMO was World of Warcraft. So the motto for 2006, which is the first motto I remember, and I don't know if any other year had a motto, but this is definitely the first motto I remember, was 1006 in 2006. And I do believe we met that, so it was great. The TFO approves the first non-gaming division, which is World of Warcraft. Or I'm sorry, which is the CCO, which is Central Command Office. These guys were mainly the admins of TAW, like it is now in operations. But back then, it was just a core group of people. It was literally a handful of people that were in CCO. Omega's reelected as the Secretary General. TFO approves retirement program, lifetime achievement medal, and retirement division. Funny, today I was going through my emails. I ran across the Word document for the retirement program, and I noticed that in the retirement program, there was a whole section about retirement ceremony, and eventually retirement becomes lifetime. When I became a lifetime member, I didn't get no ceremony, so I feel cheated. So I kind of want to go back. I didn't get a ceremony. It's like there was this whole thing with like a ceremony and things that have to be said and like speakers, and man, I got none of that. I feel cheated. But eventually TFO approves years of service medal, which now I think it goes up to 20 years of service, but now we're probably going to have to get another one for 25 years of service. TFO approves Information Technology Division, third non-gaming division, predecessor to Operation Support. The Art of Warfare mission statement is ratified. The 2006 TAW White Tournament, 13 Fear teams, one modern TAW White Tournament. That is the first time we had a TAW White Tournament. It was amongst all the different units, and mainly because I think Fear, or the game Fear, I don't know if anybody here has played it. The only thing I remember about Fear was the gun that shot like nails and could nail bodies to the wall. That's the only thing I remember. That's the only thing I remember about Fear. But it was a really fun tournament, and I do believe eventually, uh, the tournament came down to CCO, or CCs, the CCs against Battlefield, which was my unit. At this time, I do believe I was the DC of Battlefield, or I was at least an SO. I kind of rose fairly quickly, not to toot my own horn here. By all means, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I did kind of get pushed into a leadership position fairly quickly. Um, and I do believe I was the DC of Fear at this time, and it came down to the CCs and Battlefield, and of course the CCs won. But you know, I say that we gave them a good run for their money. Um, sorry about that. I muted my phone this time. So the CCs won the very first Fear tournament. I don't know if they've held up their crown ever since then. I'm pretty sure they haven't, because a lot of these units are very, very good, and a lot of these CCs are very, very old. So just FYI. Deployed military medal was approved. We do have a deployed military. At that point, I do believe we had a deployed military unit as well, where we anybody that was in the active military and they were deployed, they went in there, so they can have a place, so we didn't have to discharge them. TFO approves the first division of TAW. Deployed the military division. TFO approves the TAW tournament medal, which they won coincidentally. And the seal of TAW is released, which is what you see there. Although I think that was the first seal of TAW that we had, and we still use to this day. It's my favorite seal of TAW so far. During this entire time, I'm just in Battlefield. A Battlefield is huge. We have three. We have 3 battalions. Back then, we split up our battalions by time zone. So we had East Coast Battalion, West Coast Battalion, and then we had the European Battalion, because Europe has only one time zone. So, 1 battalion for Europe. During this time, I do not believe we had anybody from the Southeast Asia region / Oceania at all. Yes, 1 time zone for EU. EU is only in 1 time zone, as far as we know. No, I honest to goodness, I have no clue why we only wanted 1 time zone in EU. That's what we did. But that's how we split up battalions. It was by time zone. And during that time, Battlefield pretty much was utilizing its 3 battalions to its full extent. During this time playing Battlefield, it was an incredibly fun game. I don't know if anybody here played Battlefield 2, but that game, it was awesome. It was, for me at least, it was probably the game that really introduced me to first-person shooters. Eventually, Battlefield also introduced something very, very unique that eventually Jedi, in his ever-growing wisdom, told me it would be the end of us all. Which was paid downloadable content. And I still have the email from him telling us, don't do it, don't buy it, because if you do it, that means that companies will charge us for things in the future. And we all thought he was crazy, because Jedi's always crazy. And lo and behold, they came to be. So don't tell Jedi this, but he was right. Okay, so this leads us to 2007. Okay, and 2007, our motto was, if you have nothing positive to say, then say nothing at all. 158 members attend the TAW20 annual meeting. TAW is restructured into branches: administration, military, and massive multiplayer online. Vanguard is created very first time, which is a new concept for us. Launching new and supporting divisions that are too small to make in military operations, and we get some awesome games. Arma for the very first time, Team Fortress 2, Unreal Tournament. Awesome games that join in. Arma, for me in particular, was incredibly just massive. It had tons of members. It just caught the eye and attention of so many people. And I think when they say the three branches during that time, the three branches, and of course we continue with our funny names. I think that time it was called the ECO, was the Executive Commander of Operations, the Executive Commander of Army, the ECA, and then the Executive Commander of Massive Multiplayer Online Games, which was the ECOMMO, which was quite a mouthful. Eventually, that's going to get shortened to something, but that literally was. You can just imagine how it looked in TeamSpeak when it came to that. But that was 2007, and the main purpose behind the Massive Multiplayer Online unit during that time was to try to incorporate these massive multiplayer games that were ever so popular during that time into TAW. And the person in charge of doing that was me. It was really fun trying to incorporate massive multiplayer games during that time. And we tried our best. It was a daunting task, mainly because, again, just like anything else in TAW, whenever we try something new, it comes with a lot of things that we have to figure out. Uh, uh, and some things are easier to figure out than others. If anybody here that is currently in TFO and such, uh, trainings and or slash mandatories have always been a thing, right? It's not something unique. It's always been a thing. Trying to find that sweet spot in how you require, mandatories and stuff, and different games require different things. And even back then, it was still a thing, trying to figure it out. And that was the biggest hurdle when it came to an MMO, was like, okay, how do you do mandatories, especially with people that are always playing. But we managed, and we had World of Warcraft, and we launched it, and I played it for a long time, and it was tons of fun. I got to meet a lot of awesome members during that time. So, 2007. Eventually, we're going into the realm of the very first CIC. So I think that's 2008, if I'm mistaken. So let's go ahead in 2008. So 2008, the middle years. I love that.
It's the suggestion from Jedi, from Librarian.
Yep. So during this time, Omega is now called the CIC. I do believe that happened in 2007 when we switched over from Secretary General to CIC. So the 2008 motto is "Save the drama for your mama." It was great. Just like any organization, and by all means, don't think that I'm trying to sugarcoat all this history. I'm not. During this time, during these past, 7 years, there have been times when people have not agreed. There have been times when people left the organization, left the left our community and formed their own. Some were in amicable ways, some were in less amicable ways. That's me saying it nicely. But that's not unique. That's something that happens to everybody, right? Eventually, you run into people that don't have the same mindset or don't agree with the same things, and they want something different. But the thing to keep in mind throughout this entire time is that our community kept on going. Our structure provided us with that reinforcement to be able to withstand these things, and keep on pushing forward. And that within itself is incredibly unique, and that within itself is incredibly awesome. Yeah, during this time, I can probably say, there's a handful of them that I personally knew about. But there's probably more because, by this point, the organization is fairly large, with a fairly large amount of people. So trying to keep track of everything that's going on in the organization at the point was fairly difficult. The first commander in chief voting process begins with the election of CSE Fox. So CSE Fox is elected. The runner-up was myself. I'm still very sore about losing this election. No, the Fox won handedly. But it was the first time we had ever had an election. And it was the first time we ever put together something of this sort. And it was very unique in the sense of how it came about. It was mainly Omega going, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. We need to figure out a way how I'm eventually not going to be here. And we're like, well, we can think, and the very first time we did it, and it worked out. And we were able to transfer from one person to another. And it worked. It worked. And I was amazed by it. I was incredibly fortunate to be also selected as one of the candidates. Of course, losing to Fox, because if nobody here knows Fox, Fox is an incredibly astute and wise person. Okay. I don't know if anybody here has ever heard of Fox's maxims. But there were just little things, little tidbits of knowledge that Fox put together on paper. I don't know if he got it from somewhere and he just, said that these were Fox's maxims. But nonetheless, they're very wise words to kind of help lead a battalion. So he's still around. He still shows up from time to time. If you ever see him, bug him because he loves that. So first election, Fox is selected. During this time, World in Conflict. Oh man, World in Conflict was such a fun game. It was an RTS, but it was a very unique RTS. I'm not going to go into details as to how it worked, but it was a fairly large unit. It was the first time that we had like an RTS unit that was fairly successful and fairly large. Hey, there's the Fox's Maxims. Yeah, please, by all means, read those. They're wonderful tools to help in leadership. So we also get Conan and we also get Warhammer. Operation Support, or OS, was formed, bringing together the Retirement Information Technology and Joint Services divisions. And of course, Left 4 Dead, Far Cry 2, all fun, incredible games. Which leads us into 2009. Excellent. 2009.
You have 2009 up.
I know. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so 2009, Fox is incredibly creative and decides that save the drama for your mama is good, and we're going to keep that motto, and he does. It worked well last year when ResCell recommended it. We are keeping it again. That's a literal quote from Fox. TAW20 annual meeting takes place. 270 members attend the meeting. Section 8 and Ion. I do believe Ion was an MMO, if I remember correctly. I think I played it very shortly. 2009 is one of those years where everything was just chugging along for TAW. We were doing incredibly well. And I guess I'm going to say it was one of those years where even though there was a lot of members in TAW, there wasn't much movement when it came to games. I almost forgot. Oh, Dr. PI forgot to tell me, to remind me. You forgot to remind me.
What?
I needed to tell a story about Jedi.
Yes, but is it 2009?
No, it's not, but I don't care. I'm going back in time. So in 2009, I invented a time machine and I went back in time. Okay? I'm going back in time, back to 2004, okay, with Jedi, okay? So, by all means, whenever you see Jedi, please tell him and tell him that you heard the story from Toma, okay? So in 2004, TAW is playing 1942, Battlefield 1942. Jedi is, I think he's the DO of Battlefield back then. And they're in a tournament, right? A deeply heated tournament against another clan that we had a rivalry with. Okay, so this game was very important because the pride of TAW was at stake. So Jedi is here, and for those of you that don't know Jedi and have never played games with Jedi, okay, Jedi, I don't think it was C2A, it was somebody else. Jedi is not the greatest of gamers. Hey, not bragging on anybody. I suck at games too, but Jedi sucks more than me. So that's something to say. Okay, and he can't defend himself, so that is completely and utterly true. So Jedi, because he's not that great at games. They typically give him jobs that it doesn't really require much to shoot at, right? So in 1942, if you guys don't know, you were able to control the ships, right? And they're playing on Wake Island, and there's, I think it's I don't know if it's a carrier or if it's a battleship. I forgot what type of ship it is, but you're able to control it, and it's a very important piece of equipment because it really does help your team. So Jedi is driving this thing, and I forget what he was, but he was doing something. The ship itself is also used as a spawn point, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever it is, Jedi was doing his job of driving the ship, but Jedi was distracted by something. Jedi doesn't realize where he's driving his ship to. Jedi eventually ends up beaching the ship on the island itself. Not only is it beaching the ship on the island itself, but I do believe he's beaching the ship near the spawn point of the enemies, making the spawn point of the ship incredibly, pretty much making it moot. So here's Jedi with his ship, beaching it, and he's trying to back it up, like trying to get it off the beach here, and it's not working. So the entire game, he has this beach ship on an island where his only one job was to drive the ship, and more than likely not beach it. But he beached it. So whenever you see Jedi, please remind him of when he drove a ship right into the beach. I don't know the outcome of the game. I don't remember, because at this point, the outcome of the game is not that important. The only thing that's important is that Jedi beached the ship. And I do believe Jedi got a gump for it. Don't hold me to it. I do believe he got a gump for it. So, back to 2009. I want to make sure everybody knew that story, because I think it's important historical fact that happened during that time. Everybody must remember when Jedi beached the ship on an island because he was distracted. Just FYI. So back to 2009. Pretty much, like I said, a lot of good games came out this year, but not a lot of games joined TAW for the most part. During this time, we're in our full swing MMO. I think World of Warcraft's still going strong. I do believe we added a game called Pirates of the Burning Sea, which was a lot of fun. Who doesn't want to be a pirate? So then that leads us into 2009. Oh, sorry, 2010. Sorry, I'm off my ears. So 2010. The motto is play first and work second. The second commander-in-chief voting process is chosen. We choose Hook as our commander-in-chief. We go in Battlefield Bad Company. I do believe this is from Battlefield 2. I do believe we go into Battlefield Bad Company. I don't remember Battlefield was between Battlefield Bad Company and Battlefield 2. I think it was Battlefield 2142. I remember. Go ahead, Taz.
No, you had the Bad Company was a runoff of the Battlefield game. Bad Company had different game tags of the Battlefield. You had
Yes.
Battlefield and you had that company.
That is
The
correct.
reason that I know, I was part of that company team.
Excellent. Battlefield during this time is still one of the major games in TAW. It holds quite a bit of its members. Battlefield did a lot of firsts. During my time during Battlefield, I know that we did at one point we were at 5 battalions. We had 5 battalions because we had so many members. We also tried we tried having 2 games at once, not only Battlefield 2, but also Battlefield 1942. 2 games that we had going on at the exact same time. So that was a big thing. But eventually, like any game, it becomes stale. New game comes out, you go into that game. So in 2010, play first and work second. Hey, I love that motto. I always said that this organization or TAW is meant for enjoying yourselves and playing games. So if you find yourself doing more work than playing games, then you should play more games. Okay, never lose sight of what we're supposed to be doing here, which is having fun. Make sure you have fun. That's a big part. Eventually, we launched League of Legends. I remember playing League of Legends. It was a lot of fun. I was awesome with Blitzcrank. 340 members attend the TAW-wide meeting. TAW at War launches with the goal of running an international tournament and free-to-play games with all our members. StarCraft joins Arma 2. Yeah, StarCraft 2, fun game. I played StarCraft 2, but the main thing I played StarCraft 2 for was to play Mafia. Not necessarily the real-time strategy aspect of StarCraft 2. It was more for Mafia. I loved the Mafia. Mafia was fun. TAW transitions from TS2 to TS3, which we currently are now. So TS3 is 10 years old. And automation between TAW website and TAW servers. During this time, I do believe, and we're missing it from here, but I do believe during this time, Quake Wars should have come in by now, which was a major part. I don't know what it's not on here, but Quake Wars was launched a couple of years ago, and it's still a major component of TAW. Quake Wars, actually, it was myself and I think 2007, correct. Quake Wars in 2007, Omega was really behind it. He loved Quake Wars, and it just grew. And it was such a fun game to play. A lot of current leadership came from Quake Wars during that time. I do believe, including Braveheart, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really a major part of TAW in its history because it really brought in a lot of its future leadership during that time. This time, another major game that started was World of Tanks. And I know that because I was there. I played World of Tanks with those guys. It was a lot of fun. And that was a very unique game as well. It's like, it was one of those things where I don't think before that we ever had like a tank game that revolved around tanks. It was still kind of like
you were about to
first
start picking on me.
What, calling you a tank?
Well, I started World of Tanks, remember?
So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be with you guys and play that game. I really enjoyed it. It's around this exact same, which again brought a lot of unique to TAW itself because we're diversifying in the type of games that we have in general. We're not just first-person shooters and that is it.
It was the first free-to-play too, wasn't it?
No, there was other free-to-play, but it was unique in the sense of it being literally kind of like an MMO first-person shooter with tanks. which is awesome. So that started during that time. Like I said, I think it was during 2010, 2011. So, which then leads us to 2011. And oh, there it is. World Tanks. Yay. It was 2011. I knew it was around there. 2011 motto: play first, work second. We continue with the same motto. The Art of Warfare celebrates 10 years. Call of Duty 2. Was it really 2011 Call of Duty 2? Man, I would have thought it would have been sooner. Homefront Company Heroes. Also another RTS joins during that time. Total War 3 takes place in Sports Horizon. New version of the website, www.taw.net. Getting that 3-letter website was awesome. The fact that we were somehow able to get that, and I remember when I think somebody mentioned Bones earlier. Bones was the person that was able to get this website for us, and I do believe he paid nominal. He didn't pay that much money for it. But being able to have just a 3-letter website is great. There aren't that many 3-letter websites in the world, so we own one of them, which is great. Central Command Office, CCO, is renamed into Central Command, just CC, so we kind of dropped the O. Total War takes place and features Team Fortress 2, which recently moved from pay to free to play. And we have Battlefield 3, which another great game. During 2011, I'll be honest, I don't quite remember where I am. I know that during this time, I am trying to launch. I do believe it's the second iteration of TAW Radio. The first iteration of TAW Radio happened a couple of years before. It was always been a pet project of mine because the concept was always fun for me, of trying to give everybody a glimpse as to everyday channels. Oh yeah, Taz becomes a CC for the first time in 2011. I always like the fact that at any given time, there's always a group of people that are playing games in a channel just messing around. And there are always conversations that happen in those channels that are just hilarious. And for me, at least, it was always trying to get that little glimpse of that comedy so that everybody can enjoy it. But, there have been many iterations of TAW Radio, and every single one of them has pushed it to what it is. And hopefully, eventually, there will be another iteration of TAW Radio that we can all enjoy. So that's 2011, going to 2012. Yay. So Icarus is now elected the 4th CSC of TAW. Icarus Icarus brings a lot. I think during this time, we incorporate into TAW Incorporated to kind of help us with taxes. So that's the main reason behind incorporation, if I'm not mistaken.
Are we at 214?
What was that?
That's 214.
Is it 2014? Then this is when we start the conversation, because Icarus was the one that started the conversation of incorporation. Steam replaces Xfire. Oh goodness, Xfire. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. Xfire was one of the required applications whenever you joined. We were kind of like, hey, you got to get Xfire. It's our second form of communication. We tried to make Xfire happen. It never happened. TAW White annual meeting is held again. The Horizons division is created within Vanguard as providing proving ground for potential new games. Stop aging yourself, Taz. Back in my day, we had pigeons that we would send to and fro from each other.
No, we had smoke.
So, Icarus becomes the CIC. I do believe the conversation of incorporation starts at this point, amongst other things. Um, but at this point, you kind of see that our structure is beginning to kind of solidify in the sense of how we currently are, and how we currently progress in TAW. And we're starting to kind of put it in a hierarchy or a structure to bring games on. Before Vanguard, um, how we brought on a game was literally, hey, does anybody want to play this game? Oh yeah, cool. We got people who want to play this game. Cool, let's make it a division. And then sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. Um, so eventually, when we had Vanguard, it kind of added a structure to how we brought games on board to make sure that there's a certain structure and there's a certain structure and there's a certain amount of scrutiny that gets put into a game so that hopefully we set them up to succeed. Um, and then Horizons, which is kind of like the first iteration of how the current Vanguard structure is, was more in charge of, hey, can you look at what games are coming up that could potentially be good games or good candidate games for the organization to kind of bring on, to hopefully there's interest with them. Um, Dota 2, Counter Strike, Minecraft. Minecraft was huge in the amount of players, and how large they became with how many players they actually had. Um, it was a good year. It was a good year. That year, 2012, the world didn't end, so that was a good thing. So that leads us into 2013. And in 2013, we have our servant leaders lead the way motto. That is correct, Dockstar for Minecraft. TFO votes to change the age requirement for battalion level officers from 21 to 18. New opportunities for our staff. I do believe our minimum age requirement back then was 15.
15.
It was 15. It could be less if there was a TFO vote to approve it. So I do remember that back then, I think the youngest member we ever accepted was Junior Sooner, and he was, God, I want to say 10 years old. And that was because his dad, Sooner, uh, was there. So, he approved of his son being in the organization, and TFO approved. Of course, we don't do that anymore because now we have we have certain things that we have to follow. But that was the youngest member we ever had. I think he was 10 years old. I want to say he was 10 years old, which tells you how long ago this was, because I do believe Junior Sooner is now a young man with children. So it's kind of mind-boggling. I know of members that started with Battlefield with me that were like 15, 16 years old, um, that were going to high school and stuff. During that time, I had just finished college. Um, and during that time, that now they are literally people with families and jobs, and it's like, wow, goodness gracious, it's like time flies. But it's incredible just to think about, and the amount of people that we yeah, and the amount of people that we run into, and the course that life takes us. It's incredible. And another thing that kind of is unique to TAW. Uh, so during 2013, we had on more games. Arma is still going strong. They introduced Arma 3, Ghost Recon again, still going strong. Um, they're still there with Recon Phantom, um, and Battlefield 4 gets put into the fray along with DCS. DCS is DCS are probably the most dedicated members I've seen when it comes to their game, as to how much time and effort they put into their different campaigns that they made and put together. It was awesome every single time. I always wanted to buy DCS just so I could experience that. Okay, which leads us to 2014. So 2014, our motto is servant leadership, loyalty, and friendship. TAW formally incorporates as a non-for-profit corporation. The board of directors is created. Correct. The process of nominating and electing TAW's next CIC begins. TAW-wide tournament featuring Hearthstone is held. World of Warplanes joins. Braveheart is elected the 5th CIC of TAW. First meeting of the board of directors is held. And TAW-wide annual meeting, I do believe the first board of directors was Icarus, Hook, and Bones. Those were the very first members of the board. And at this point, we're fully incorporated into a non-for-profit. Again, mainly for tax purposes, as to, our main purpose behind it. You got to realize that before this point in time, how we managed our finances was not the best, mainly as in the sense of it fell upon one person. Somebody had to have their name on the PayPal account, right? So at the end of the year, when you had to pay taxes, it's like the government would be like, "Hey, you made this money," even though it wasn't really their money; it was the money of the Art of Warfare that they were helping manage. So that was too much responsibility for one individual. So, hey, let's incorporate. Let's have it be a corporate entity, so that way we're able to pay taxes as a corporation, and that way we're able to take that responsibility and that hardship off of one individual and have it be shared amongst the corporation. Incredibly smart, incredibly good, and we've been operating that way ever since, and it really does help us. Heroes and Generals also joins. 2014. I'm trying to think of where I was in 2014. I do believe in 2014 I was in lifetime membership retirement. I think these were my quiet years. I call these my years of isolation. When I just went quiet, because I had a lot of things going on in my own personal life. But every once in a while, I'll come online and see what people are up to and what people are doing, um, to see how things were going on. Yay, Roman Reigns joined the summer of 2014, and Todd was never the same. So we're going on to 2015. um, 2015, we have Arcage joining, DayZ, Hearthstone, Insurgency, Armored Warfare. Todd War 7 is held during Dirty Bomb, featuring Dirty Bomb. Featuring Dirty Bomb. During this time, I think I think we're on our current website. If I'm looking at our website standpoint, we've gone from our original brown pages, which eventually led to our green pages, is kind of where we get a lot of our current dossier look and all that fun stuff. That's where that came from, and badges and medals, which then led into our blue pages during the blue age of the website, which was it used a lot of the front end was kind of remade, but the back end was still being utilized of the old website, which now we go into our current website. I know our website is kind of old, which was a lot of things were custom made for this time. And it literally incorporated a lot of these things that we didn't have before. And hopefully we'll have a new website soon. So 3rd of June 2014. Then we go into 2016, and I do believe this is the year that I got dragged out of retirement. So, Teen Doc is selected as the sixth CIC of TAW. After serving as our CIC for 2 years, Braveheart was awarded the coveted lifetime membership. We incorporated Tabletop Simulator. TAW War 9 features Brawlhalla. A lot of excellent games joined during this year. War of the Warships, Battlefield 1, Overwatch. TAW Education Center is launched. Classes on online learning platform. New Vanguard record set for 16 teams launched, and 1,219 new members into Army. So during this year, I come back from Lifetime, and I join as I joined Treasury, I think. Yes, 2016 was an excellent year because 2016 is also, I think, Escape from Tarkov, if I'm not mistaken, which had 1.5 million members, if I'm not correct. Yeah, you see, I was removed from the lifetime membership by Cherry. Yeah, so pretty much I get dragged out of retirement, kicking and screaming, uh, telling me if I could help out with Treasury, which I do, uh, and I get put into Treasury with a lot of awesome people to help out, kind of with the finances of TAW. During this time is also when we first start thinking about investments for TAW for our long-term goals, um, to see how we can structure those. And like I said, I think Escape from Tarkov was during this year too, and they had so many members. God, did they have over 300 members? I'm trying to remember how many they had during this time.
The record I think is the squad 400.
I think
Right?
550.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. But like I said, it's an excellent year for 2016. So, which goes into 2017. The TAW annual meeting is held. We get Battlefront 2, Fourth Corps all hands meeting is held. PUBG comes on board. TAW Radio has officially launched. This TAW Radio is an actual radio with like music. Okay, that's what TAW Radio is. TAW Education Center releases a new bootcamp script, guide, and presentation. EFT, which is a Escape from Tarkov, becomes the largest division ever in TAW. They broke the record by having over 400 members. Vanguard 2017, 5 teams launch: PB, LRG, CT, ESO, and Star Wars Battlefront, consisting of 410 members. This year is also when we have one of our annual recruitment, not recruitment, but one of our fundraisers. And Escape from Tarkov does a very generous donation of over $1,500 from their unit, which was incredibly generous. And it really helped out that year. It really helped us out overall. So this was an excellent year. I'm still in Treasury helping those guys out. Yes, definitely clap for Escape from Tarkov. I'm still in Treasury during this year, and I do believe we have decided to invest. We haven't decided how we're going to invest, but that is literally in the works during this time and during this epic time. So that leads us into 2018. So modern warfare. So I guess we're coming into modern times now. So EFT breaks their own record, having 500 members. King Cheese is elected as the 7th CIC. TAW War 10 features Paragon. TAW Operations All Hands meeting is held. King Cheese's motto is more than just in community, which we are. Far Cry, Quick Wars, and Ghost Recon are the first 3 divisions within TAW to have earned the Decade Hall of Fame medal for 10 years. So fundraising has ended. Another record has set. Yep, we had a fundraising record. Vanguard All Hands meeting is held. 6 Core All Hands meeting is held. And Vanguard starts 4 teams with 177 members. So I guess this was the year that with the record breaking. This was the year when Skin for Tarkov donated. I think it was like $1,500. It was incredible. Overall, at this point, like I said, we're coming into modern times, so it's kind of like at this point, probably the majority of you have the clear picture of what's been going on so far. But for someone like me that's since 2005, and somebody like as that has been here before me, true. Taz says that the last year was the record-breaking year. True, but at this point, that was the record-breaking. But for somebody like me that's been here since 2005 and has seen the progression overall, as I guess let me say the bigger picture, it's incredible to think that, for one, we have been able to keep ourselves organized this long, and two, the amount of people that I have been able to interact with has been incredible. I haven't interacted with some of you here in this channel now, or maybe whoever's watching, but the sheer aspect of the fact that I have the ability to is incredible to me. I meet so many people from so many different walks of life and so many different places. It's just so just riveting. And to think back of all the people that I have interacted with, all the people that I have had conversations with, arguments with, had fun with, all the different games that I've played, and all the different ideas that we've shared is just mind blowing. And through it all, like Taz here says, we've toughed it out. We've gone through some tough times, but our structure has worked, and that is through the dedication of its members like you, and that's awesome. So that leads us to 2019, which we're now catching up to modern time. Tasmanian is elected as the 8th CSC of TAW, which is currently in channel. Multimedia Corp has been created with all EDU, graphics, shop, SOCOP, and TSO, which is pretty much all of our multimedia needs. TAW has meeting is held. Award 12 features Unreal Tournament. Hell Let Loose. I never played Hell Let Loose, but Diablo 2 joins with 50 members. Apex Legends, Vanguard 2019 stats 6 teams launch with Battlefield, and I don't even know what these games are. Consisting of 20 members. And then it leads us to 2020, which is last year, which was a very tough year for a lot of people. But even though it was a year for a lot of people, we powered on. We have another meeting, have our fundraiser, which with a new record for our fundraiser. Talisac is awarded the Coveted Lifetime Achievement Award. Feast Corp gets created. And after 13 years, Todd Goose is awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award. Goose, who started in Ghost Recon, right, was still around, not having been given the Lifetime Membership Award, a medal. But Goose was literally, I think Goose joined in 2003, I think 2002, if I'm not mistaken, which is incredible. Which then leads us to now, and here, with you guys, everybody here, leads us to this moment in time. And to think that this organization has been here for 20 years. And I apologize because there's lots of history that I did not speak about. There's lots of history that I unfortunately wasn't privy to, and I wish I was. But it is incredible that we have had this place, this organization for this long, and that can say we have history. We have these memories of how this place was back then. And we're moving forward because this is a celebration of where we were, but where are we going? And we're going into a wonderful place of continued growth with our community and continued growth with our core tenets intact: friendship, loyalty, fair play. And those simple tenets that we hold very, very dear to ourselves has helped us create the place that we currently have. And it has been created. It has been created through the hard work of individuals like people in this channel, hard work of individuals that are no longer here in our gaming community, and the hard work of individuals that have yet to come, that will eventually come. And I can't wait until hopefully I get called back and say, hey, can you do the 40 year? Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here and I'll try to remember, and I'll try to remember to this particular meeting. Uh, but to me, that's just incredible. And I thank you all for being part of this history. I thank you all for being part of this. And, let's keep on making history together. So, Dr. PI, back to you.
Yep. So now we are opening with questions and answers. I was expecting to have Jedi here, but unfortunately he is not. But I will pass all the questions to the Jedi, and he might answer you by email or something like ICQ. Icarus, that I'm not sure he is here too. No, he is not. And Tasmania and Tomomoko. So if you have any questions, please type ask on X on the web on the chat, and I will try to manage the questions to Tomomoko and to Tasmania. I got one question in the middle of the presentation from Cole Mink. So if you were here, please, Cole Mink. Oh, not sure he is. Now he's not anymore. So do I have any questions on Twitch or TeamSpeak? Yes, Fortis, please.
Yes, yes.
Fortis,
But asking the old time members, the people who have been here for more than 15 years, I would like to know, where would you like to see Tor in 5 years, in 10 years? Where would you like to go with this?
I'll answer for myself, and I'll probably say that I would love to see us grow into a much more bigger powerhouse when it comes to our competitive side. That would be phenomenal if we're able to get our footing into that. That would be great, and somehow make a mark on that aspect of it. But even with that, right? Because like I mentioned before, it's not about just competitiveness. Um, Continue to adapt and embrace um, what gaming is becoming now, right? Now the lines between console and PC gaming is getting blurred as every iteration of consoles comes out. We can't really start making a difference between the two, the lines being blurred. So to really make a push to hopefully incorporate more of our console brethren, um, and giving them the opportunity to join us, will be great. But you know, to really make our voices heard when it comes to the gaming community, uh, and to kind of show the expansiveness of our our organization will be phenomenal.
Tasmania, you want to answer or to ask a question?
Well, as you all know, normally Sergi, the moment that he stands down, they step away from Tol. I did the other thing and stayed in Tol, and that's for a reason. And that reason is to make Tol even bigger. And we have set a guideline to encounter and interact with developers in the future, in the near future. And if that's going to help Tor, that will bring even bigger spread amount amongst the community that we have out there. That being said, that also means that we need to be focusing on getting in touch with developers, and our focus is not the games anymore, but the future games as well. And I think that's a next step that we do in Tor. But like I said, small steps are taken, and we are treating it with the highest regards, because if you treat it badly, you don't get those access. I do think if we can get early access to our members, get those early access signs into the new games, it will help Tor out in a huge way.
Are you under a pillow, Taz? Because that's the way it sounds to all of us.
I'm not. I'm talking as a normal member. I don't know what's happening.
It sounds like you're under your pillow trying to be quiet.
Crap.
I have a question from Little Gray Shark. Little Gray Shark?
He typed it out.
Ah, he typed it. Do you guys have any other special funny or wacky Gump medal worthy stories other than Jedi's boat misadventure?
Yeah. So there's two. I have my own Gump medal. So I will share my own Gump because you know I'm human too. I make mistakes. Um, in Battlefield, we used to have, to control the servers, we had a server recon tool, right? It was like an app that popped up and you logged in and you had your different servers that you can control. Cool. Battlefield, we had several servers. We had our public servers, which controlled our public ranked servers where people played. We had our practice servers, right? So I'm in channel. It's during the Eastern time. Um, I'm in channel, and somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, Toma, our ranked servers are going out of whack. Can you restart it?" I'm like, "Sure, no problem." Log in, restart server. Think nothing of it. A little while later, comes back, "Hey, you're gonna restart that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. Let me restart it again." Restart it. "Hey, Toma, what are you doing? It's not restarting. Can you restart it again?" I was like, "Sure, no problem. Let me restart it." Restart it. I restarted that server like 5 times, right? And they kept on coming back going, "Hey, it's not working." So this is about 3 minutes in. Then I have my CO from the East Coast that they're having their practice right now come into channel, and you kind of see where this is going. And he starts going, "Something's wrong." And this guy's from the South, so he has a very thick drawl. It's like, "Toma, there's something going on. It's like, we're trying to have practice and the server keeps on restarting over and over again. We don't know what's going on." At this point, I'm like, and I literally go, because all I can think of is, dang, I'm gonna get a gump for this. And lo and behold, yeah, I was restarting their server over and over and over again while they're trying to have practice, not realizing that I did. Of course, it took them very little time to figure out that it was me that was doing this, and of course, accordingly, they gave me a gun for it. So that was that story. The second story is there used to be a legend that there was a rank in TAW called the BLT, and it was a tale of people that sometimes believed. And we had a recruit come into our channel asking us, "Hey, is it true that there's a BLT rank?" And we said, "Yeah, there's a BLT rank." And they're like, "Well, how do you get the BLT rank?" And I was like, "Oh, well, in order to get the BLT rank, you have to make yourself a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, and you have to take pictures of it, and then you have to send us the pictures. But then you have to go find yourself a high-ranking officer and show them the pictures and ask them to make you a BLT." So we were saying it as a joke. This recruit took it as gospel, and he actually did go out and make a BLT, take pictures of it, and then went into a channel with, I don't know if you remember this person as, but DSM, I think it was DSM or Intense. These are two people back in the day that were higher in the hierarchy of Tom. And show him the pictures of the BLT and ask to become a BLT. DSM and Intense didn't really have a sense of humor. So the next thing we know, we just see people getting kicked. We felt bad, of course. We kind of smoothed things out and told him, "Hey, it was just a joke." But yeah, the poor kid, new recruit, believes this and goes and shows one of the, hierarchy of Ta. It's like, "Hey, look at the BLT I make. Can that be a BLT?" Yeah. So those are my two stories.
Tasmania, you have one to share? Tasmania? Knock, knock.
Did you change your push to talk button?
No, I just typed in a message. There are a few people that know TAW history. Tomorrow knows the history. Myself know the history as well. But to be honest, there's only one person in TAW that has always has the biggest interest in the TAW history, and that's Jedi. And there's one reason that we have kept the person in a certain influence in TAW due to the knowledge he has on how TAW works. And I always make the phrase, back in the days, we were harsh. And being harsh was, back in the days, if it didn't live up to the code of ethics, you were gone. And being gone meant basically a DV. If you look at the current days and how we work, we look at the person and we look at how the person acts. This line of teaching within TAW. We're not that harsh anymore. We're not that scrutinize people that you're not TAW material, you're gone. But we are the more lenient people that are you're doing enough for TAW and you're here to stay. And I think that's the big difference, and the biggest difference that we did in the last years is we went away from being a scrutinized people that held up and thought, yeah, you're not top material, but went from, okay, there's something wrong, but we learned. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can do in Tor. We are learning. We're not that hard biased people anymore. We are learning and learning and evolving and evolving. And by doing so, we're encountering the increase of members. And yeah, some people say, yeah, but in 2015 you had nearly 3,000 people. That's true, but in the end, if we look at current numbers, 1,600 stable, also good. And they are still here. We are still 12 members. It's not about the numbers, it's all about how you feel about the community. I think that's the most important message I can say is Thor is about feelings. How do you feel of being part of Thor? Do you feel welcome? Do you feel I'm part of the unit? I'm part of the community? Is your HDI, is your DI treating you well? That's the thing that we need to spread out. Bring out and act how we do in the past. And to be honest, looking at the numbers, we are doing so. And it will take time that we increase members. Do we need to have more members? Of course. I would willingly have to have numerous members in a 3 months. But in the end, I want more members in here that feel the same way that I do. This is Thor. This is who I want to be.
Thank you. I have a question from Twitch. Let me read it. Grant the Land, thank you for your question. Does TAW have an e-sport team or will ever have one? I think the answer is yes. Tomomoko, do you know about this? Yeah, Tomomoko.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
The question is, do we have e-sport teams, or we will have one?
To my knowledge, we have never had like an official esports team, nor have we had an official TAW team compete in an esport or a championship. We have had members that have been part of esports team. And we have had, we've gone to lots of different tournaments, back in the day, now. But esports is such a, and when I say new, I don't mean like within the last 2 years. It's still within its infancy, and it's coming into fruition. Um, that I definitely see ourselves, if we are able to get better organized and slightly better funding, to have an actual esports team. It is not out of the realm of possibilities. It is completely impossible to be able to have one and to be competitive. Um, but of course, it all depends on our membership and how we do things. But yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, just to complete with the reactions that I have on the Twitch chat, Ariane was telling that we have a DSD, Digital Combat Simulator, and AOE, which is Age of Empires, and they are both competitive at esport level. And DCS also organized PvP competition in DCS community. So yes, maybe this answers your question. I had another question to you, Tomomoko. What was your favorite position that you ever held in TAW?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Um, I guess logic would say, oh, my favorite position was the highest position I ever held, or something like that, the one that gave me the most rank, leadership capabilities. But I'll be honest, I think the position that I enjoyed the most when I was in TAW was being a squad leader. I think that was the most I enjoyed out of it because being a squad leader and having like a small group of individuals that you work closely with, and this takes me back to Battlefield, right? Back in Battlefield, um, we would have little squads, and these little squads, uh, back in the Battlefield days, come up with very elaborate uh, tactics. And when I say elaborate, Battlefield was a game that you play up to 32 versus 32. And when we played against other clans or something, um, we would have very elaborate tactics. Like literally, we would come up with like the craziest things to try to execute and then try to coordinate to actually be able to do. Um, and having to work in conjunction with these little squads of individuals and practice our move, like this is your responsibility, this is what you have to do, and get it done and execute and be good at it, was incredibly hard but incredibly fun to practice it, to go in there and try to do it, and different people of different skill sets to try to get it done was so fun and satisfying, um, that oftentimes I think back and go, geez, it's like those were really fun times. And it's always with the squad because you really get to know them, you really get to have fun with them, um, and it just becomes really, really enjoyable. So, squad.
Sure, nice to talk. Actually, I got a reaction from Tasmanian saying that his biggest one was HDI, and I do agree with that. Actually, for me, the biggest one was HDI DI because it's very close by. One is AL and another one is not. And I think being a DI or HDI is actually working the front of the battlefield. And for me, I have this feeling this is one of the biggest and most important position that I have ever had at all. I have another reaction from Corpse about the PL. Do you want to share this story with us, Corpse, from Rainbow Six?
Not actually PL in Rainbow Six, but back in Quake Wars in 2008, 2009. Basically, the most stuff in it was on the PL level. Just working with the entire team, prepping strats, getting together, preparing for the matches. Since we had an internal competition set up back then. Yeah, a lot of fun. Then I got to do it over again when I spun out Nuclear Dawn. I stepped in to take up platoon leading.
Sure. Do I have any questions from TeamSpeak? I haven't seen any acts for a long time. If you are on Twitch channel and if you want to participate, please you can type a question and I will read your question and then we have Tomomoko or Tasmania answering it. Of course, there is a delay on Twitch. If they have some questions, it will come like 10 seconds later. So, Tomomoko, you said, I have a question from Twitch. What is the future for MMD? Good question from Elite Guard 01. I'm not sure you can answer that, Tomomoko, but maybe we can find someone from MMD to answer that.
Yeah, I mean that would be speculation on my part, but
Uh-huh.
My speculation, if anybody wants to hear my 2 cents,
Sure.
is MMD, which I'm guessing is multimedia division.
Yes.
It, it it's becoming an increasingly more important aspect of who we are and what we do. Because like I mentioned before, it let me take it back. Even though we're having fun here in this organization, it's the reason for TAW existing primarily is entertainment, to be entertained, have fun. You know, you have some time off, school, work, whatever. You want to enjoy yourself. You want to enjoy yourself with other people. Um, so it's entertainment. We are producers of entertainment content, right? Um, and MMD is part of that aspect, part of the branch that provides content slash entertainment for the rest of TAW, right? Whether it be through the graphics that they build, or the videos that they put out, or Twitch streaming, all that fun stuff. So it will become more and more important, because that is how we, in general, right, as a society, consume that type of stuff. It's what keeps us entertained. So having TAW be part of that, and having TAW produce its own stuff, is going to be incredibly important. So at least for me, it's something that we're going to keep on pushing for, and hopefully we'll keep on developing, and hopefully eventually we'll be able to have an excellent team that we currently have, more robust, that will be able to produce some of the stuff that everybody will enjoy.
Sure, thank you. And I have another question from Sharp Shot. Sorry. Sharp?
Thanks, Dr. Pie. Yeah, you guys have touched on some old members and things that were around before your time, or went through TAW in the early days with you. Could you guys, anyone, think of any influential members that made you want to stay in TAW, and kept you in the community?
Tomomoko?
Excellent question. I would say the most influential person for me that kind of made me, like, I wouldn't say stay in TAW, because I don't think I've ever had any thought of not staying in TAW. That's the best way I can put it. I never went, oh man, I don't want to be here anymore, or I don't want to play with these guys anymore. Even when I was in Lifetime and I wasn't really in a unit or anything, I was still around. I kind of still came to TeamSpeak. I was still here. But I would say that Fox, for me, was a big part, because um, Fox, at least for me and Jedi, were always big parts of telling me, hey, you know, let me go back. When I first joined TAW, I was just out of college. I haven't had a really big job yet. Um, and they helped me with my leadership skills, with my ability to manage individuals. And the lessons that I learned in TAW, and that I learned primarily from Fox and Jedi, allowed me to apply those learned lessons to what I eventually was doing out in the real world, quote unquote. Um, and I applied a lot of those lessons. How to deal with people, how to talk in public, major thing. Um, and I learned those lessons uh, through interactions with Fox, Jedi, a lot of other leadership members, that allow me to fine tune and hone those skills and apply them to my actual real life job and or slash interactions. So they were a major part of that.
Great. Thank you for your answer, Tomomoko. Do you have any question? We just now got a raid from a Phantom. So I would like to thank Phantom for the raiding party. I think I have a question or an answer from Tasmania on TeamSpeak. Please, Tasmania.
If you look on how we work in TOL and how we act in TOL, I think the most important thing is we encounter people with interest. And the interest that I mean is we don't see them as individuals, but we see them as potential TOL members. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the feeling that you have about TOL. But to be honest, the moment that you're part of TAW, it's what it's about. It's about how you feel about TAW. That's the most important part. Is we are here to help you out. We are here to make you a better player, if we can. And if we don't, we are here to give you the best experience you can have in an organization. So it's from casual gameplay to professional gameplay. We are trying to uphold the legacy. And one of the best things that we had back in the days is there can be only one. And that sounds harsh, that sounds off, but it was a gameplay. It was a gameplay in Delta Force. There can be only one that's best of the best. And we all tried when in game to be best of the best. That meant that we dived. We went in the game and our main objective was I'm going to beat every other guy in the server. And at the end of the game, if you were a DC, if you were HDI, if you were the platoon leader, if you were the squad leader, it didn't mean anything. The one that won the match was the most awesome guy ever. He won. That doesn't mean he was in charge of anything, but the most important thing, he's part of the bigger good. Because remember, that gained the medal, that gained a tab or gained a medal was important. That's who we are. That's until today who we are. Doesn't mind where you come from. It doesn't mind if you're EU, if you're NA, if you're Oceanic. You're part of TAW. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can say. Is it doesn't mind where you come from. We are TAW. Period.
Thank you for sharing that, Tasmanian. I have some reactions from Corpse. Do you want to talk more about it, Corpse?
Yeah, just to come back on Sharp Shot's question about people basically in the past making you stay in TAW. As somebody who has been here for more than 10 years as an member, I do feel slightly qualified to talk about that, especially since I climbed the ranks and back down again. I'd say to start off, I definitely had a few mentors. Locke, a name that won't mean anything to anybody here, who used to be FS in Quake Wars in 2008-9, who definitely helped me in my personal development as a platoon leader, but more general as well. And Ekis, who I spun up Nuclear Dawn with. But after that, it changed from having mentors to wanting to be in TAW to help out other members. Basically shifting to be a mentor myself, I'd say. Helping that those battalion officers stepping up, leading their battalion, giving them advice, later on moving over Corps Command, helping out TFO the best I could on how to best to handle situations. That's why I'm still here in TAW today as an FS, wanting to organize engaging events for the members and helping out the existing or the current officer corps in the Rainbow Six division to basically improve and make the unit the best it can be.
Great, great, great. So I haven't seen any questions from Twitch so far. If people on Twitch has any questions, we have 32 viewers on Twitch now, and we peaked at the 50 viewers late time. Do we have any questions from TeamSpeak maybe? Maybe not. Okay. What I do understand, because we are here in History of TAW for more than 2 hours and a half. And maybe this is time to call out. And yes, thank you for telling us all about the TAW. So to complete our event today, I would like to thank you very much, each one of you guys that are playing with us. I would tell some names, some call signs that we have here on TeamSpeak, starting from Canis, Maverick Saber, Rowan, Cute Claire, Ramp Hop, Tasmanian, Tomamoko, our presenter today, Kane, Dr. Jackson, Mr. Haas, Salfan, Z-Boss Corpse, Tommy, myself, Dr. Pi, Fortis, Collagius, Little Grey Shark, Papo, Sharpshot, Ghost, Elite, Griff, Mikalius, Raz, and Table. Thunderscene is the last one. Thank you very much who joined us on TeamSpeak. Thank you two also guys who was chilling around. I saw some names that and faces that I know, like Ariana, J Mag, Krakos was commenting. Mikalius TV, I don't know your call sign, but thank you for all guys who participated in this event of TAW, and happy birthday. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have another event, and if you are not online on the website, please check it out. It will be karaoke night. It will be on GMT 8 p.m. GMT time. So please check it out in the website. What time is it in your own time schedule? Karaoke night means that we have to sing. So maybe this is the beginning of next TAW radio for the sake of Tomamoko. And you can always contact me at it's drpi at taw.net. And let's see you around in next events. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.
And thank you both for hosting it. You guys did really
Thanks,
well.
guys.
Thank you, Good Claire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lie down.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Check out that channel.
Change channel.
Great job, y'all.
Thank you, Ghost.
Guys, gonna down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pie.
Bye, Z. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. African.
Cheers, table.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Great jobs, guys. Check it
Bye,
out.
Sharp. Thank you,
So,
Domini.
I guess
It's
the only
Dominic!
thing left to do is to make a BLT and send it to Maverick.
Yes.
Now I want to make a ghost story in Overwatch.
Yeah, he was here
The
today.
legendary BLT after recruit rank.
Uh-huh.
I know somebody got a gump for trying to TeamSpeak race some higher ups back in the days.
What's a
And
TeamSpeak
2.
race?
What's that?
Basically, really switching channels real quick.
Whoa.
Okay.
So you go from
what
the
they
top to the bottom?
forgot-
Is that what's going on?
No, but what they forgot was that they were racing against a higher up who had a higher permission level.
Uh-huh.
So did they just
So
kick them?
They got automatically kicked for jumping channels
Circling
too fast.
It's
So he got a gump for challenging a higher up to a TeamSpeak race. It's unfortunate. I forgot the call sign of the member, but
Did somebody talk to Taz about his mic?
Yes,
yeah,
we
it
talked.
was mentioned a few times. Bless him.
Bless him. I didn't get anything on stream.
Nah.
No, either way, Doma.
yeah, I probably should
Either way,
specify
Donna.
Pi, but your level was good enough, but the rest was low.
Yeah, in
So
the
in the end,
beginning.
you ended up lowering yourself, but at least that made it less painful for people who turn up the volume, I guess.
Yeah! Corpse, I'm still learning how to stream and I'm getting better and better. It's all thanks to TAW that I have learned this, and it's helped me a lot on my own work during coronavirus.
Oh, I totally get it. I'm figuring that kind of stuff out myself. as well.
Mikhail's doing down.
Bye, Michaelis.
Thanks for hosting. Bye.
Thank you, thank you.
Hey. Alright.
Hello, Ariane.
Pi, are you aware that your stream is still running, buddy?
Yes, to keep the jokes filling.
Ah, okay.
Do you want to participate, or you think it's better to break off?
I think it would be better to break off because I assume that there are a lot of people that be joining the channel not aware that you're streaming.
It was written live. Sorry, guys who are in Twitch now. Boss, just call it out. We should go. Bye bye.